Are you confused as to whether you should be applying for the non-habitual residence scheme in Portugal? Well, I'm going to cut straight to the chase and save you a lot of time by saying yes. It's a no-brainer from a financial point of view, and just get on and apply for it. I'm going to expand on that in the video. There are a couple of planning points and one big caveat, so stay tuned to the end and we'll cover that in more detail. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Mark Quinn. I'm a chartered financial planner and UK tax advisor based in Portugal, and I help expats either living here or relocating to Portugal. If you want to be kept up to date of developments here affecting expats from a financial perspective and tax issues affecting expats here, please subscribe to the channel and also make sure you click the notification button. So I've been advising expats here in Portugal now coming up to 10 years, and I've never met a client who wouldn't benefit from NHR. And in fact, I've come across many clients that have suffered unnecessary levels of tax payments because they haven't applied for NHR. I did mention one caveat in the instruction, however, and that's in order for NHR to work for you, you need to make sure that you're able to detach yourself from your current tax system. So if you're living in the UK, for example, you need to make sure you're making a clean break from the UK tax net, but also importantly, you stay out of that tax net because each country will have its own set of residency rules, which could inadvertently drag you back into their tax system. So yes, apply for NHR, but only if you can make a clean break from your current state of residence. This leads me to the next point, which is making sure you have a clear understanding of the timing. So you need to make sure that not only can you break yourself free of your current tax residency status, but you also need to do it at the most appropriate time. Now, this is more tricky if you're coming from the UK because we have a misaligned tax year with Portugal and the rest of the EU for that matter, generally. So the UK tax system will work on an April to April tax year basis. Portugal and a lot of European countries operate on a calendar year basis. So you need to make sure you have a clear understanding of the interaction between the two tax years and the most appropriate time to leave the UK or wherever you are in the world at the moment, and the timing for entry into the Portuguese tax system. Also on the timing point, a critical point is that you have a deadline for applying for NHR, so please make sure you apply for it in time, otherwise you lose it. And that's the 31st of March. Following the year you get your residency status. So if you get your residency status anytime in 2023, you have until the 31st of March 2024 to get your non-habitual residence sorted. If, for example, you get residency in 2024, the deadline kicks over to the following year, so it would be the 31st of March 2025 as the deadline. And I've spoken about this many times before, I sound like a stuck record, but I'll say it again. You need to make sure you plan for NHR. I've talked about the box system of NHR and how it's a uniform system, but it has multiple boxes within it. And depending on what assets you have and where your income and gains are coming from, each of those boxes will mean that you're subject to different levels of tax, even within an NHR. And those boxes mean that you will be subject to different tax rates, even as a non-habitual resident. So just make sure you're doing planning. And as an example, I helped one client move from the UK recently. His situation was such that it was better for him to do some planning with his pension prior to becoming a Portuguese non-habitual resident. So he actually extracted his pension scheme in the UK and not as a Portuguese tax resident under the NHR scheme, which is contrary to most other advisors' opinions. But that was a very specific case. As I keep on saying, each person has a very specific set of circumstances that needs individual advice. So please seek advice when you're doing this. Don't do any planning without speaking to an advisor or before making the move to Portugal if possible. The earlier you get advice, the better. I hope you found this brief video useful. I will be doing much more detailed videos in the future, so please comment below if you have any suggestions or questions. I will be doing more detailed videos on the NHR scheme and just general financial and tax planning for life in Portugal. in the future. If you have any questions, please comment below. If you also have any suggestions for any future videos, please comment below. And also I'd be grateful if you could like the video too. Thank you very much.